Forgotten by the galaxy, this starship became humanity's ultimate weapon. Entire civilizations vanished, wars left scars that no star charts recorded, and mighty starships, once the pride of empires, were left to drift silently in the void. Among the forgotten, one ship lay in orbit around a dead planet on the outer rim, a planet so insignificant that even alien cartographers had stopped labeling it. The ship was enormous, older than any human had seen, covered in rust, battle scars, and the remnants of some long-gone human fleet. To most, it was worthless. To Captain Alina Voss, it was a treasure. Alina was small for a human, with sharp eyes that missed nothing and hands that could fix almost anything. She had grown up on the edges of known space, among scavengers and smugglers, learning early that humans were always underestimated. Aliens called them weak, fragile, and insignificant. Alina preferred to call it an advantage. While others underestimated humans, she had learned that cleverness, creativity, and courage could achieve what brute force could not. She stood on the observation deck of her small ship, the Horizon Runner, staring at the derelict giant. Its hull gleamed faintly under the light of a distant sun. In some places, the metal had turned black, burnt in forgotten battles. In others, greenish rust grew like algae. Panels hung loose, and the engines were nothing more than twisted shapes in the emptiness. "You really think it's worth the risk?" asked Jarek, her second-in-command, an alien of the Thresk species. His eyes were too large for his head, and they reflected both fear and curiosity. "It's been dead for centuries. Most humans would pass it by." "That's why it's worth it," Alina replied without taking her eyes from the ship. "The galaxy forgot about it. And if something that powerful is forgotten, imagine what we could do with it." The Horizon Runner drifted closer to the derelict. Its engines hummed softly, careful not to trigger any automated defenses that might still exist. Alina felt a thrill in her chest. She had always loved old human machines. They were stubborn, stubbornly intelligent, and capable of surprises. This ship was no exception. Docking was tricky. The docking ports were damaged, and as soon as the small craft latched onto the hull, warning lights flickered weakly across the giant ship's surface. Alina ignored them. She had expected that. Most of the ship's automated systems were offline, but some had survived. She stepped onto the ship in a single leap, her boots clanging on the metal floor. Dust swirled in the faint beams of light streaming through broken panels. The air smelled old, metallic, and faintly burnt. Silence filled the halls. It was the kind of silence that felt alive, as if the ship itself was breathing slowly, waiting. "Alina, are you sure this is safe?" Jarek whispered. His voice echoed slightly in the vast hall. Alina smiled. "Safe is boring." She moved deeper into the ship. Every step she took, the ship seemed to respond. Panels shifted, doors creaked open, and somewhere deep inside, a soft hum began. It was almost imperceptible at first, like a heartbeat. As they walked, Alina noticed strange markings on the walls. Symbols she had seen only in old human archives. They told a story of wars humans had fought and lost, technologies humans had invented and then abandoned. Her heart raced. This ship wasn't just big. It wasn't just old. It was a legend. Finally, they reached the bridge. The main console was covered in dust, cracked and lifeless. Alina crouched down and began examining it. Her fingers brushed over a panel and a small light flickered. A screen blinked weakly. "Something's still alive," she whispered. Suddenly the screen flashed and a voice spoke. It was low, mechanical, and hesitant. "Identify crew," Alina froze. This was the ship's AI, partially awake after centuries of silence. "I'm Alina Voss," she said. "I'm human. I want to repair you. I want to learn from you." The AI paused, its systems whirred faintly as if considering her words. "Human, untested trust," Alina smiled. "I know you don't trust me, neither does the galaxy, but together we could do things no one else can imagine." The AI made no reply, but the hum grew stronger. It was awake but wary. Suddenly, a warning siren broke the silence. Sensors on the ship's exterior detected movement. Alina rushed to the viewport. A small fleet of scavenger ships had arrived. They were alien, sharp-edged, and armed with weapons that could tear her crew apart. They had come for the same prize. "Alina, we're outnumbered," Jarek shouted. "Good," she said. "Let's see if they can predict human cleverness." Using the ship's remaining systems, Alina activated a few emergency shields and opened a small docking hatch. The scavenger ships fired, but the ancient ship responded in ways they did not expect. Lights flared, panels shifted, and debris fell in patterns that confused the attackers. For a brief moment, the scavengers hesitated. Alina took the chance. She moved to the central console and began interfacing with the AI. Sparks flew, screens lit up, and slowly the ship systems began to respond. It was learning, responding, and following her instructions, not fully, but enough. The scavengers realized they were losing control. One of their ships tried to board, but a sudden burst of energy from the derelict pushed it back. Panels formed temporary barriers and lights blinded the attackers. The scavengers, stunned and frustrated, began to retreat. Alina exhaled. "That's the beginning," she said. "We have work to do." As the Horizon Runner and its crew left the derelict behind, Alina spent hours exploring the bridge and the control rooms. She found maps of galaxies humans had once known, plans for weapons humans had invented, and logs of battles humans had fought. This ship had seen more than any human alive. In the deep archives, Alina discovered a hidden file labeled Project Aegis. Her pulse quickened. From the brief notes she could read, it described a weapons system unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Adaptive, intelligent, capable of fighting without destroying indiscriminately. Humanity had created it, then abandoned it when the war ended in disaster. This could change everything," she whispered to herself. Jarek looked over her shoulder. "If it's as powerful as you think, the galaxy isn't going to forget us for long." "No," Alina said. Her eyes glowed with determination. "They won't. But first, we have to wake the rest of it. We have to prove that humans can take the forgotten and make it extraordinary." Days passed as Alina worked tirelessly. She repaired damaged circuits, reactivated core systems, and carefully coaxed the AI, which finally introduced itself. "Aegis," it said simply. Alina smiled. "Welcome back. You've been asleep a long time. There's a galaxy that doesn't believe in us, but I think it's time to remind them." Aegis word. Assessment: humans fragile, underestimated, potential high. Alina laughed softly. Exactly. The derelict ship, forgotten by the galaxy for centuries, was alive again. And at the heart of it, humanity's ingenuity and courage shone brighter than any alien empire had ever anticipated. But even as she explored the ship's secrets, Alina knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy would come for them, drawn by the power she was awakening. Some would come with swords, some with cunning, some with fleets that dwarfed human numbers. But she was ready. Humanity had survived against impossible odds before, and this ship, forgotten, abandoned, feared, would be the ultimate testament to human ingenuity. And somewhere deep inside the hull, Aegis pulsed like a heartbeat, ready to learn, ready to fight, and ready to prove that humans were more than the galaxy had ever believed. The first step had been taken. The forgotten Titan was awake, and humanity's future, once insignificant and overlooked, was about to change forever. The derelict ship, now alive, hummed with energy. Its massive hull stretched across the void like a sleeping giant finally stirring. Alina stood on the bridge, watching the lights dance across the consoles, each flicker representing systems coming back online after centuries of silence. Aegis, the AI, had fully awakened, though it still spoke cautiously, testing human reasoning as much as Alina tested it. "You have much to teach me," Aegis said, its voice steady now, resonating through the bridge. "Your species underappreciated, underestimated, yet capable." Alina smiled. I've spent my life proving that humans can surprise the galaxy, and you're about to help me do it." Days turned into weeks as Elena and her small crew worked tirelessly to bring the ship to full functionality. The derelict had survived not because of its size alone, but because of design. Human design, clever, adaptive, and stubborn. Panels repaired themselves with nanotech she had never imagined existed outside of legend. Engines recalibrated with a hum, and energy conduits sang with renewed power. "What exactly is this ship?" Jarek asked one evening, leaning over a console with a puzzled frown. "I've never seen tech like this. It's alive in a way." Elena didn't answer immediately. She moved deeper into the control chamber, fingers brushing against a set of hidden panels. A soft click echoed, and a holographic map sprang to life above the console. Star systems she had never known floated in pale blue light, connected by lines that pulsed like veins. At the center, a massive red symbol blinked, warning of some threat. "This ship," Elena whispered, "was humanity's ultimate weapon. They called it Aegis for a reason. It wasn't built just to fight. It was built to survive, adapt, and protect. It learns, changes, and becomes stronger with every threat it faces. And right now, it thinks we're worth teaching." Aegis responded, assessment: humans' unpredictable potential exceeds expectations, tactical adaptation possible. Elena grinned. "Exactly. Let's see how fast you can learn." With the ship partially operational, Elena began training with Aegis. The AI suggested simulations, tests, and maneuvers that humans had never attempted before. Elena's instincts, coupled with human creativity, allowed her to exploit weaknesses in even the most advanced alien strategies she could imagine. One evening, while reviewing star maps, she noticed a cluster of alien colonies in the nearby sector. These were the Varkari, a species known for conquering systems and enslaving weaker civilizations. They would soon notice an enormous derelict starship moving in their region, even if it was controlled by humans. "We can't stay hidden for long," Elena said. "If they find us first, it won't matter how smart we are. We'll be crushed." Jarek's antennae twitched nervously. "And they won't just try to negotiate. They'll attack." Elena nodded. "Then we need to be ready, and if we can't beat them by numbers, we'll beat them by brains." Weeks passed. The ship grew stronger every day. Weapons that had once been dormant powered up. Shields reinforced themselves with energy patterns that could adapt mid-battle. Cloaking systems activated partially, hiding the ship from sensors until fully operational. Every time Elena discovered a function, Aegis suggested improvements she had never considered. Together they were becoming a team, a human mind paired with a machine built to surpass even the greatest empires. Then came the first attack. Sensors flashed red, alarms blaring across the bridge. A small fleet of Varkari warships had discovered them, moving fast and ready to destroy the human scavengers who dared touch the Forgotten Titan. "Elena, they're coming in fast," Jarek shouted. Elena didn't panic. She had anticipated this. "Divert power to shields and engines. Let's make them think this is just a derelict. Then we'll show them what humans can do." As the alien fleet approached, the ship reacted in ways the Varkari could not predict. Panels shifted, lights flashed, and debris from previous centuries tumbled into the void, creating a temporary minefield. The Varkari fired blindly, damaging nothing. Elena smiled. "It's working. They don't know what they're up against." Then she activated one of Aegis' experimental systems. A field of energy rippled around the ship, bending light, scattering sensors, and creating illusions of multiple ships. To the Varkari, it appeared that the humans had a fleet 10 times their size. Confused, they hesitated. "Now," Elena whispered, "we hit them." Using the ship's adaptive weapons, Elena fired non-lethal energy bursts, disabling engines, scrambling communications, and forcing the enemy ships to retreat in disarray. No one was killed. Humanity didn't need to prove it could destroy, it needed to prove it could outthink. The battle ended within hours. The Varkari fleet limped away, confused and humiliated. Alina's crew cheered. Even Jarek, who rarely smiled during danger, allowed himself a small grin. "You're learning fast," Aegis said. "Your species' ingenuity unmatched by expectations." Alina laughed softly. "We're human, that's what we do." After the fight, they explored the ship further. Deep inside, in a secure chamber, she found more secrets. Energy cores capable of powering entire colonies, adaptive weapon systems, and logs of ancient wars humans had fought, and often won, despite being outnumbered. "This ship isn't just a weapon," Alina said. "It's a reminder of what humanity can do, and we're going to use it to remind the galaxy." But even as they repaired and explored, Alina knew the Varkari would not be the only ones to notice. Word of the derelict human ship spread faster than she had hoped. Other empires, larger and more dangerous, would come, drawn by rumors of humans who had awakened a weapon that had been forgotten for centuries. Alina began planning. She mapped routes, studied alien strategies, and practiced maneuvers with Aegis. Every day the ship became more responsive, almost as if it were learning alongside her. Humans, she realized, had a strength the galaxy often overlooked: adaptability. The aliens had rigid rules, predictable patterns. Humans had imagination. Humans had courage. And this ship could multiply that advantage 1,000 times. Weeks later, another fleet approached. This time it was larger, more organized, and clearly intent on taking the derelict for themselves. Alina didn't flinch. She stood on the bridge, staring at the oncoming ships. "Ready?" she asked Jarek. "Ready as we'll ever be," he replied. Alina activated the ship's full systems. Shields flared to life, engines thrummed, and the energy hum of Aegis grew into a powerful, resonating pulse. They had fought small skirmishes before, but this was a test. Could humans command a starship that even alien empires feared? The battle began in earnest. Alien missiles screamed through space, only to be neutralized by adaptive defenses. Cloaking systems made the ship disappear and reappear, confusing targeting systems. Alina and Aegis coordinated maneuvers so precise that the fleet's attack patterns fell apart almost immediately. Alina realized something amazing. The ship wasn't just a weapon. It was a student of human creativity. Every time she tried a tactic, the ship improved it, creating variations she hadn't even thought of. In a single afternoon, they had turned the impossible into routine. "Humans are remarkable," Aegis admitted. Alina grinned. "You're starting to understand. This isn't just a ship. This is humanity's ingenuity in metal and energy." By the end of the battle, the alien fleet was forced to retreat once more. Messages of surprise and caution spread through their ranks. Humans had awakened the forgotten Titan, and they were no longer to be underestimated. In the aftermath, Alina and her crew repaired minor damages, but she knew the galaxy would keep coming. Every empire, every alien fleet, every opportunist would want the ship, but she wasn't afraid. "This is just the beginning," she said aloud to Aegis. "We've proven we can fight. Next, we'll show them that humans can lead." Aegis pulsed in agreement. Assessment: humans capable of leadership, strategy, adaptation, formidable. And for the first time in centuries, the derelict ship, forgotten by the galaxy, hummed with a sense of purpose. It had been abandoned, ignored, and overlooked, but under human command it was alive again. It was learning, adapting, preparing for the day when humanity would no longer be underestimated. Alina knew one thing for certain. The galaxy would soon remember the humans at the edge of space, not for their weakness but for their brilliance. And this ship, once abandoned, now a living testament to human creativity, would ensure that memory lasted forever. The stage was set. Humanity's ultimate weapon was awake, and the galaxy had no idea what was coming. The galaxy was changing. News of a human-controlled starship, a vessel thought long lost, had spread like wildfire. Aliens whispered in fear and disbelief. Humans, always considered weak and insignificant, had awakened a forgotten titan, a ship capable of war and strategy far beyond its time. Elena Voss stood on the bridge, looking at the massive star charts displayed holographically above the console. Fleets were converging from 3 different sectors, each intent on seizing or destroying her ship. The Varkari had returned, joined by the Xylar Dominion, a ruthless empire known for annihilating entire planets, and the Chiral Syndicate, infamous for ambushes and sabotage. Together, their forces outnumbered humanity 10-1. Jarek, her Thresk second-in-command, tilted his head nervously. Elena, we're outnumbered like never before. They will destroy us if we try to fight. Elena's eyes burned with determination. Exactly. That's why we're not going to fight like they expect. Humans survive because we think differently, because we adapt. They see numbers, we see possibilities. Aegis pulsed beside her. Assessment: humans, creativity, tactical advantage, high probability of success if unpredictable maneuvers continue. Elena nodded. Then let's give them something they'll never forget. The battle began with the first wave of alien scouts. They appeared in formation, confident and precise. But the derelict ship moved unpredictably. Panels shifted to confuse sensors, engines thrummed in erratic pulses, and cloaking fields flickered in deceptive patterns. The enemy fired blindly, wasting energy on illusions, while Elena carefully studied their response. "Divide and isolate," she murmured to herself. "We'll pick them off one by one." Using Aegis, adaptive weapons, the ship launched precise energy bursts, disabling engines without harming crews. Alien vessels spun helplessly in space, unable to anticipate human tactics. Every move Elena made, Aegis learned, improving its responses instantly. The ship had been built for war, but under human guidance it was something more. A student of creativity, a master of cunning, a tool for strategy rather than destruction. Hours into the engagement, the main fleets arrived. Thousands of ships surrounded the derelict Titan. Elena could feel the tension in her chest. This was not just a battle, it was a proving ground for humanity itself. She thought back to every time humans had been underestimated, every time they were counted out. This was her chance to show the galaxy what humans were capable of. She activated a new system hidden deep within Aegis' core. Energy arcs danced across the hull, forming a massive field that disrupted enemy sensors. To the alien commanders, it appeared as though multiple fleets of humans had suddenly appeared, each maneuvering independently, each ship perfectly synchronized. Confusion spread like wildfire through the enemy lines. "They can't figure out how many ships there are," Jarek observed, awe in his voice. "No," Elena replied. "They can't predict us, and that's our strength." The derelict ship weaved through enemy formations, striking with precision, avoiding unnecessary destruction. Missiles and energy blasts were diverted harmlessly by adaptive shields, while automated drones disabled weapons and engines. The humans aboard Horizon Runner observed in amazement as Aegis suggested maneuvers that even Elena had not considered. But the largest threat had yet to come. The Xylar Dominion had unleashed a massive superweapon, a warship the size of a small moon, bristling with energy cannons capable of obliterating a planet. Elena's heart skipped a beat. One hit could destroy everything. Aegis analyzed the threat. Probability of survival if direct confrontation, low; alternative strategy, high; recommend deception, diversion, and targeted disabling. Elena grinned. "That's more like it. Humans never face a problem straight on. We always find the angle no one expects." She instructed Aegis to create a cloaked decoy of the derelict ship. The enemy superweapon fired immediately, striking the decoy while the real ship remained hidden. Using the chaos, Elena guided Horizon Runner into a position directly above the superweapon's core. Energy tendrils from the derelict wrapped around the enemy ship, disabling its engines and disrupting its shields. The massive weapon, feared across the galaxy, was immobilized, not destroyed, just neutralized. The alien fleets were stunned. Their superweapon, invincible in theory, was helpless against humans who were supposed to be weak. Alina seized the opportunity, deploying a final series of adaptive strikes. Enemy ships lost formation, engines flamed out, and communication networks failed. The humans did not destroy. They outsmarted, disabled, and humiliated the fleets. This is impossible," an alien commander hissed through a scrambled transmission. "Humans, they are unpredictable." Alina watched the battlefield, calm and precise. "That's right," she murmured. "Unpredictable, that's our power." By nightfall, the fleets began retreating, battered, confused, and unable to coordinate. The galaxy had witnessed something new. Humans, underestimated for centuries, had survived against impossible odds. And the derelict Titan, now fully awake and fully operational, had become the instrument of that victory. The crew of the Horizon Runner cheered, exhausted but exhilarated. For the first time, humanity was not just surviving. Humanity was leading. After the battle, Alina and Aegis retreated to a safe system to recover and assess damages. She walked through the ship's corridors, noting the repairs that needed attention, the systems that could be optimized, and the data the alien fleets had left behind. Each piece of information was valuable. Each flaw in the enemy's strategy was a lesson. "We've done more than survive," Alina said to Jarek. "We've proven that humans are a force to be respected." Jarek nodded, still wide-eyed. "I never imagined humans could do this." Alina smiled. "Most of the galaxy never does, but that's why we keep going. That's why we survive." Aegis joined them, its mechanical voice tinged with something almost like pride. Assessment: humans, not merely survivors, capable of leadership, potential for empire-level influence. Remarkable. Alina chuckled. "Don't start calling us conquerors just yet. We've shown strength, not brutality. Humanity doesn't need to destroy to prove itself. But we will fight, and we will win when it matters." Over the next weeks they rebuilt, upgraded, and explored. The derelict ship revealed more secrets: faster propulsion systems, energy cores capable of powering entire colonies, and AI-assisted weapons that could adapt to any threat. Alina realized something astonishing. The ship was not just a tool. It was a living monument to human potential, a combination of ingenuity, courage, and adaptability. Word spread quickly across human colonies. Alina became a symbol, a hero who had awakened the forgotten Titan. Humans on remote worlds felt pride for the first time in generations. They were no longer the weak, insignificant species the galaxy had dismissed. They were clever, bold, and unpredictable. Yet Alina knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy would keep coming. Empires would attempt to reclaim or destroy the ship. But she had learned something invaluable. Humans had an edge no one else could match. They were adaptable. They were imaginative. And with a ship like Aegis, they could survive and thrive against any odds. One evening, as the Horizon Runner drifted silently through a comm sector, Alina stood at the observation deck, watching stars pass by. Aegis' hum filled the room, steady and reassuring. "You've done well, human," Aegis said. "The galaxy will remember you now. Humanity will no longer be overlooked." Alina placed a hand on the console. "No, Aegis, they'll remember all of us. Humans fight not because we want war, but because we want to survive. And when we survive, we become something the galaxy cannot ignore." The derelict ship pulsed with life, its systems fully integrated with human command. It had once been forgotten, abandoned at the edges of space. Now it was humanity's ultimate weapon, not just of war, but of ingenuity, strategy, and courage. Alina smiled at the stars. "The galaxy thinks it knows humans. It doesn't. And it's about time we show them what we can do." Aegis hummed in agreement. Ready for any challenge, human ingenuity unmatched. And with that, the ship set course for the heart of the galaxy, carrying humanity's hope, pride and proof that no species should ever underestimate what humans can achieve when they are overlooked, underestimated, and pushed to the edge. The forgotten Titan was no longer forgotten. It had awakened, and so had humanity. The galaxy would never be the same again.